Hi, my name is Marc DuQuette, and I'm here today speaking with Marc DuQuette, who recently published Orange Sunshine: How I Almost Survived America's Cultural Revolution. Brand new book available on Amazon.com and on www.marcduquette.com. This is absolutely a fascinating book that gives you a front row seat to what it was like to live through probably America's most interesting generation, which is the 1960s. Marc, I got to start with the cover of the book. On the cover, it shows Marc holding, which is what I doubt is a legal gun. It looks like a AK-47. I'm no gun aficionado, but it does look legal. And you're standing with a guy who's smoking probably an illegal substance, and another guy with another gun. What is this, Marc? Tell me about it.
Well, those were the guys I hung around with, and that picture was taken about 1975, and I'm holding a .45 caliber submachine gun, and those are two of my friends, two of my drinking buddies. And, we called ourselves Buckaroos, because we hung out at a bar called the Buccaneer, and that was our simplistic way of looking at ourselves.
Marc, the title of your book, Orange Sunshine: How I Almost Survived America's Cultural Revolution. Tell us about Orange Sunshine. What exactly does Orange Sunshine mean? I'll show you guys the cover of the book here. And then there's a strange molecule in the back. Talk about that as well, if you will.
Well, Orange Sunshine was a type of LSD that was popular during the late 60s, early 70s.
So there were different types of LSD?
There were different types of LSD,
okay.
Yeah. And when it first came out, people were taking LSD in liquid form, where the chemist or whoever would provide the LSD would put it on a sugar cube, a drop of LSD on a sugar cube. And I never took it that way, but that's the first time I heard about LSD. It was in sugar cube form, and it's been in many different kinds of form, tablet forms, and what they call window pane. And the Orange Sunshine was, the way I took it was in orange tablet.
Okay.
And it was, supposedly it was developed in the California area. Tim Leary advocated its use, said it was imbued with cosmic properties. It was very powerful.
Wow.
It was a very powerful form of LSD.
Let me just start with, Marc, your very first chapter, chapter 1, says Motorcycle Down. And it tells about how you were in a near-fatal motorcycle accident. Tell us a little bit about what was your state of mind going into that and how you actually survived.
I was a biker in the mid-60s, and I used to drive a chopper. And my particular kind of motorcycle was a Norton engine and a souped-up BSA racing frame. And I got into a wreck in Santa Ana, and almost was killed. So.
But it starts, the pint of tequila I had for lunch was completely metabolized, but the Benzedrine was still pumping through my system. I was feeling very good, as if my soul was too big for my body. Marc, how do you get on a motorcycle with all this running through your system? I mean, what was really going, did you think it was a safe thing to do? I mean, put us into your state of mind.
Well, I didn't think at all. I drank a lot and took drugs and drove my motorcycle. My whole life was just, at that time, it was just based on working and drinking and riding my motorcycle. And so for me, a pint of tequila at lunch was what I did. Worked in a machine shop in Santa Ana. At lunchtime I'd go to the liquor store, I'd buy a pint of tequila, I'd drink it at lunch, I'd take some Benzedrine, which was amphetamine sulfate, and at the end of work I'd get on my motorcycle and ride to the bar where I'd do some serious drinking. And I was on my way to the bar when this motorcycle wreck happened. The car ahead of me had her taillights out. I pulled up alongside, doing a good deed, turned my head and I yelled, "Hey lady, your taillights are out." And while I had my head turned, the car ahead of her changed lanes, got in my lane, and came to a complete stop. I didn't have time to hit the brakes or anything, and I ran into the back of her car, went up over the top of her car, landed on my head.
Did you have a helmet on?
On South Main. Oh no, no.
Oh my gosh.
No helmet, no helmet. Just long hair, a beard, a Mexican serape, a chain around my waist. My motorcycle had what we call a sissy bar with an iron cross on it. So I was totally into the chopper scene. And I picked myself up off the street and rolled off into the ditch. And my bike was completely demolished, and I had some serious injuries, serious head injuries. Took 140 stitches to close my injuries on my face. My nose was smashed, and it was a very serious wreck.
Okay, so I would, first of all, this sounds horrifying. I don't know how you do it, but when I read it, I was laughing through the entire thing. Because the way you tell the story is absolutely hilarious, yet tragic at the same time. And that's pretty much the whole feeling of this book. It's so unbelievable and so tragic, but it's hilarious. I laugh on every single page. So after this near-death experience, you didn't have any kind of significant emotional experience like, oh my gosh, I gotta stop drinking, I gotta stop doing drugs. I mean, literally at the end of this chapter, if I remember correctly, you're in the hospital and you're already contemplating doing acid. So walk me through that.
Those are good questions. When I was laying on the operating table, I was on the operating table for hours while they were sewing me up, and they wouldn't give me anesthesia.
Why?
Because they wanted to keep me awake. They were afraid I'd go to sleep and not wake up because of the severe head injuries. So, as they were sewing me up, I was thinking to myself, I had kind of a flashback of my life. And I didn't like what I saw. I saw my biker lifestyle, and I was very selfish and just kind of lived a very roughshod kind of life, just trampling over people and doing whatever I wanted regardless of who I hurt. And so that was brought to my attention while I was laying on the operating table by a power greater than myself. And so I made a kind of a resolve to be a better person. I didn't think about the thought that I drank a lot or used drugs didn't even cross my mind. It was about behavior.
But how did you figure you could control your behavior still under the influence?
Thoughts like that didn't go through my head.
Okay.
I didn't even think about things like that. Drinking and using was just part of what I did, like breathing.
Okay.
So, and I didn't even think I had a problem. You know, because everybody I ran around with did the same thing I did.
Okay.
So it was a whole subculture that I moved in and I traveled in. And we all drank and used, and sometimes we behaved badly.